Here's the latest battle between Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin. Things got rather hot once again. In a recent race, Larson and Hamlin got into another fight, and it's safe to say Larson was furious. But wait, there's more to the story. It appears Larson isn't the only one who is fed up with Hamlin and NASCAR. Veteran drivers, including Kyle Petty, have expressed discontent with Hamlin's aggressive racing style. But what Hamlin had to say about the event was even more startling. May this be an insight into the psyche of Cup Series drivers? Join us on NASCAR Zone as we delve into Larson and Hamlin's heated rivalry and uncover the explosive emotions. But before we dive into that, do subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. So let's dive into the story of Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson, the two NASCAR drivers who were not only known for their intense on-track rivalry, but also for their off-track friendship. It seemed like they had a solid bond outside the racing world, but that all changed after the infamous Pocono wreck. You see, the Pocono race was a crucial moment in Denny Hamlin's career, as it marked his 50th win, a remarkable achievement. But for Kyle Larson, it was a bitter pill to swallow, leaving him with some unpleasant memories that he won't forget anytime soon. Despite their past on-track skirmishes, they managed to maintain a strong friendship over time. However, it appears that the Pocono incident pushed things to the edge, and Larson seemed to have had enough of Hamlin's aggressive driving. Not only did the wreck affect their on-track relationship, but it also seemed to cast a shadow over their off-track friendship. Larson recently admitted that he was losing respect for Hamlin, and in response, Hamlin hinted at some serious strain in their relationship during a pre-race interview at Richmond.
Chris, Fox Sports. I know Kyle's had some sprint car stuff, but have you guys talked or texted or anything?
Yeah, we've communicated.
Yeah, and how'd that go?
I thought it went good.
Last time we talked, Denny, you hadn't yet spoken with Kyle. Did you guys come to the race together? I know you do sometimes.
No, not this time.
Larson talked about what happened at Pocono before Sunday's Cup race at Richmond. He used Kyle Busch as an example to show how he races other drivers.
Well, I think you could look at the 4 or 5 restarts I had with the 8 at Gateway, and you could see kind of how, if roles were reversed, how I would have played it out probably at Pocono. But I think if roles were reversed going forward, it'd probably look a little different.
Because it's Denny, or does it matter? Or are the rules just different now?
I respect Kyle, and that's why I raced him with respect at Gateway, and I respect Denny every bit as much, if not more, or I did. So I don't think I would have raced any differently than I did at Gateway.
Hamlin's move didn't surprise Larson, but it wasn't what he had hoped for. Larson said that he wasn't shocked by what Hamlin did to him at Pocono.
I would say I wasn't surprised because he made the exact same move work last year with Ross, a driver who he does not respect, who he shouldn't respect, at least in that point, that back then. So I knew the opportunity was there for him to pull that move. I was more concerned about it the restart before we restart my inside, but even when I got the good push on the front stretch, I was knowing or thinking that, yeah, if he gets inside, he's probably just going to do what he did last year because it worked. So, but I was hoping, I guess, maybe because of all the times he's wrecked me in our friendship off track, he'd maybe have a little bit more respect for me on the track, but then he pulled the same exact move. So I guess whatever.
So the Pocono incident has undoubtedly put a dent in the bond that Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson once had. It remains to be seen if they can mend their friendship and get back to their usual rapport, both on and off the track. But for now, the NASCAR world is left wondering about the future dynamics between these two drivers who were once so close. Hamlin did confirm that he had a digital showdown with Larson, but he kept the details under wraps, only assuring everyone that the exchange was civil and respectful. Thankfully, the ever-eloquent Bob Pockrass, the Fox Sports reporter, managed to get some scoop directly from Larson himself about this digital dialogue.
Yeah, no, it was brief and fine. You just texted a little bit late last night. He wanted to meet up. I just didn't really feel like there was a reason to meet up because we were just going to agree to disagree and probably get more frustrated with him, and then I'm sure vice versa. He'd probably be frustrated with me afterwards. So I thought just the brief texts that we had were good, and ultimately I think it was probably the best.
However, Even though they did communicate, it was clear from their words and demeanor that there was still some friction and tension lingering between the two. Looks like the hostilities might not be over just yet. What are your thoughts on the recent clash between Larson and Hamlin? Tell us know in the comments section below. And be sure to hit the bell button and subscribe to our channel to get the latest updates. Even seasoned drivers like Kyle Petty didn't hold back in expressing their frustration with Hamlin's aggressive racing style. Needless to say, Hamlin's victory at Pocono didn't sit well with many in the NASCAR community.
Denny can't be the victim. We played his radio. He was the victim. He puts himself in the victim position. Hey, you're not the victim here, Denny Hamlin. And when I looked at this one and we heard what Kyle Larson said, he said, Denny's always right. All his buddies know it. And he laughed about it because he knows Denny's not going to apologize for this. You see him come back here. It was a great race, man. I enjoyed every lap. I loved the strategy. I loved everything about it. The ending, I don't appreciate. I don't appreciate even 50 wins, what he's done. I don't appreciate that because we saw this same move last year, and that's just my opinion.
Prior to the Richmond race, Denny Hamlin participated in a pre-race press conference where he shed light on the mentality of NASCAR drivers, especially in response to questions about his actions at Pocono and the resulting incidents.
Hi, Denny. Owen Johnson, CupScene.com. Do you expect to be raced differently in the coming races, kind of as a target for moves like this going forward, or do you think the aggression that you talked about is so high that everyone's going to get moves like this put on them?
Yeah, I think that it's the field is like this. You'll see it in turn one on a restart that everyone's gonna. No one really cares about what others have done to you or you've done to others. They're just trying to get all for themselves, and so that's just the nature of racing the Cup Series now. So no, I don't expect any different because stuff like that happens many times during the race that we don't even see.
It seems like he's implying that drivers are so focused on their own objectives that they might not even realize the impact of their actions on others. This attitude of drivers primarily caring about their own performance and not giving much thought to others' concerns may come as a surprise to some, especially considering the expectation of maintaining a sportsman mentality in racing. As for the Larson-Hamlin battle at Pocono, it's a race that fans are still talking about. With only a few laps to go, the tension was high between the two drivers, and the collision resulted in Larson crashing into a wall, while Hamlin went on to win the race. Larson felt that the wreck cost him a chance at a better position in the race and potentially more playoff points. Frustrated, Larson retaliated but couldn't prevent Hamlin from securing his second win of the season. Despite their friendship, there seems to be some lingering bitterness between the two drivers, perhaps fueled by Larson's lower ranking at the time. Fans are now wondering if similar incidents will occur in future races and whether their on-track rivalry will continue to escalate. We all hope they can eventually bury the hatchet, but for now, it might be best if they focus on being fierce competitors on the racetrack and put their camaraderie on the back burner. So it will be interesting to see how Larson competes with Hamlin in the next races. Even though there are a lot of things that aren't clear, Larson's words make it pretty clear that Larson and Hamlin's relationship on the track has changed. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more of our videos on NASCAR updates. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.